I'm proud of myself, you know, of the things I've accomplished in a year's time. You know, it's kind of amazing.
Amazing indeed. After sitting out his freshman year because of academics, Hardaway came out last season with a resounding bang. He became the first player in Memphis State history to record at least 500 points, 200 rebounds, 150 assists, and 70 steals. He led the underdog Tigers to the Elite Eight in the NCAA tournament, stunning among others their biggest rival, Arkansas.
His instincts of Larry Bird, as far as his size and his flair of the game, magic. He's got that flair. And his athletic ability, which is close to a Michael Jordan.
I don't want him emulating anyone. I want him to be Anfernee Hardaway because he has a good enough game that someday some youngster would be emulating him.
Just as impressive as Hardaway's magic on the court last season was his diligence in the classroom. He raised his grade point average to a 3.2, best on the team, taking some tough classes during the heart of the season.
The academics, you know, like I said, they got harder, and I got tough with them. I'm trying to get serious about my education because once I first came in as a freshman, I had to sit out because of academics, and it made me realize that there were more things out there besides basketball.
His grades in check, Hardaway could afford to pass on summer school to join the 8-man practice squad for America's Dream Team.
It was amazing, man. I was like in practice like at awe every time, you know, because they practiced before we did, and we watched them practice, then we'd go down and be their dummies, as you could say. They'd dunk on us and push us around, but it was a lot of fun, though.
And you got steals off of?
Magic Johnson and John Stockton, and I got a block on Clyde Drexler, so that's the highlight of my life right now.
Hardaway realized he wasn't ready for the NBA after last year, but with some Dream Team experience behind him, many think this time Hardaway will make the jump.
We don't even address that issue. We continue to talk about collegiate basketball.
You see the Mercedes-Benz, and you see your own house, and you're dreaming all this stuff.
I got his two mamas that say that he will be here, and that's the most important thing. I believe what Mama say. When Mama say he's gonna be there, he's gonna be there.
I've gotten all my individual awards that that I'm proud of, but I want to get a team award, like a championship, and that's what I'm striving for this year.
The good Lord takes care of that kid. You're talking about a big-time millionaire.
After the U.S. national team experience, Hardaway knew that he had to take his game to the next level. True to his word, he stayed for one more year in college. And this time, everybody should know who the best point guard in college basketball is. He averaged 23 points, 8.5 rebounds, 6.4 assists, and 2.4 steals, and made sure that the NBA scouts would see his potential. Now it wasn't a question if he makes the NBA, but at what number. How little did he know that his draft would be one of the most spectacular drafts in NBA history.
Careful deliberation, I have decided to forego my senior year in the 1993 NBA draft. The reasons for this decision are strictly related to my own personal situation and in no way reflect on Memphis State University. In fact, the great treatment I have received from the university, from basketball program and its fans in a few years, has made it even more difficult for me to leave.
Hardaway has made all of the All-American teams announced this year, and he now stands to make millions of dollars.
I made the decision last night. It had been lingering in my head for ever since I told Coach Summertime, and I finally made the decision last night. It just hit me, I had prayed about it for the longest. My grandmother just told me to pray on it, and I had been praying on it for so long, and it just hit me like I think I'm ready to go.
Sure, I want to keep him here. I want him to stay here with me. That's not in a selfish way, but in a way that I think, I want to keep him here to be sure that things are in place for him. But by the same token, this is what he wants to do. And like he told me, he said, Coach, this is embedded in my heart. I want to go. I want to participate.
Now, Hardaway says he will finish this semester at Memphis State, and he plans to finish the work needed to get his degree. Hardaway is a year away from graduating with a degree in secondary education.
Oh, definitely. I'm going to finish. I'm looking to finish my degree. For my degree, I promised my mom and grandma that I'm going to get that, and that's something that I'm going to strive for to get.
Now, Hardaway wouldn't speculate on how high he may go in the NBA draft, but he says he expects to play guard in the NBA. Hardaway says he hasn't picked an agent, but he has a list narrowed to 4 or 5. As for the decision to turn pro, Hardaway told me the pressure of making that decision did indeed affect his play late in the season and during the NCAA tournament.
Now with our live coverage of the NBA Draft Lottery, here's Bob Costas.
And we come to you at halftime of the Eastern Conference Finals, the Bulls leading the Knicks
48-44. And we're at the NBA Draft Lottery being held this year at the Sheraton New York Hotel and Towers. The NBA Draft itself will be held on June 30th at the Palace of Auburn Hills, the home of the Detroit Pistons. Today, the order of selection will be determined by the lottery. This is the 9th annual Draft Lottery. It was introduced in part to remove the possibility of teams with poor records losing intentionally in order to secure a high pick in the draft based solely on order of finish. So what's at stake today? Well, unlike last year when the prize for winning the lottery was pretty clearly Shaquille O'Neal going in, this year, while there are many fine players, it's not so clear-cut who's number one. Most NBA observers feel that the first pick will be one of two players. Sean Bradley of Brigham Young, the 7'6" junior who didn't play last year or this, serving a Mormon mission in Australia instead. The other possible number one pick is 6'9" Chris Webber of Michigan, who left after his sophomore year with the Fab Five after leading the Wolverines to the NCAA title game each of the last two seasons. The rest of the top picks also figure to be underclassmen. Kentucky's Jamal Mashburn took his team to the Final Four this year before they lost to Michigan in the semis. And Anfernee Hardaway of Memphis State and Rodney Rogers of Wake Forest are projected to be among the top 5 selections.
The teams that have the first 3 picks in the 1993 NBA Draft, the teams that really are going to love this game. The third pick in the 1993 NBA Draft goes to the Golden State Warriors.
Philly or Orlando? Philly or Orlando?
Second pick in the 1993 NBA Draft goes to the Philadelphia 76ers.
Unbelievable.
And believe it or not, the first pick in the 1993 NBA Draft goes to the Orlando Magic. Come on up.
This is in the category of go figure. The number one pick last year with Shaquille O'Neal almost made the playoffs. This year, 1 ball out of 66 in the hopper, and they get the number one pick.
The NBA's top 10 list for Wednesday night at the Palace. That is barring any last-minute shuffling. The Pistons holding a pair in their own backyard. Picks numbers 10 and 11. But we begin at the top, where the Magic may not be completely sold on taking Chris Webber. Anfernee Hardaway spent his Tuesday in Orlando, and he was not there to visit Disney World. You have to wonder about the timing of this.
Penny was working out for the Orlando Magic. Orlando star center Shaquille O'Neal, who met Penny 1 year earlier, was doing his best to get Penny to Orlando.
Let's go back to the summer when y'all were doing the movie Blue Chips. I remember Shaq calling me saying, yo, this Penny Hardaway kid is unbelievable.
I can remember I was out in LA just playing around, and we was on a movie set. It was summer LA out there showing up, Magic's out there, everybody was in the building, so I'm running, and like I would put my hand up, and this cat would put the ball in my hand every time. So I'm like, who is that cat? They was like, that's Penny Hardaway, you ain't never heard of him? Back then, they didn't have internet. You know what I'm saying? So I had to get on the home, like, yo, who's Penny Hardaway? Like, yo, he cold. So when I seen this kid, I was on that Magic and Kareem tip. Right. So then I called John Gabriel and made him an offer he couldn't refuse.
Magic say they will let their pick know before he ever gets to the Palace that he's their man. For one, Chris Webber says he doesn't want him to call because he prefers the suspense.
Good evening and welcome to the Palace of Auburn Hills.
I don't know what's going to happen. I haven't heard from anybody in the organization.
With the first pick in the 1993 NBA Draft, the Orlando Magic select Chris Webber.
They disrespected me, so I'm upset. Like, I'm really upset. Like, come on, this ain't gonna work.
Back in Orlando, we had a big crowd in the arena. I was out there to make the announcement that we had just drafted Chris Webber. Oh, they were excited. It all made sense.
Chris Webber, #1, baby. Boom, I predicted it. #1. Thank you. I won my bet.
It's awesome. It's great. We're going to have an awesome year this year.
With the third pick in the 1993 NBA Draft, the Golden State Warriors select Anfernee Hardaway from Memphis State University.